Good morning from the National Weather Service here in Pocatello. My name is Carter, and this is your Southeast Idaho weather hazard briefing for Wednesday, July 30th. Key parts we're going to be focusing on today: got daily thunderstorm chances continuing through the weekend. We'll see those peak in coverage each afternoon and evening, with isolated stronger storms possible. Temperatures will remain near normal to above normal for this time of year, generally in those 80s and 90s across the board, but a cooling trend will return starting Thursday through the weekend as temperatures gradually cool heading into early next week. Elevated fire weather conditions will persist due to a combination of thunderstorms, breezy winds, and very low relative humidity. Did see several fire starts out there yesterday. And taking a quick look at satellite imagery for you this morning, mostly clear skies prevailing out there as lingering showers and thunderstorm activity dissipates this morning, but expect an increase in activity later today during those afternoon and evening hours. And a look at your weather risk outlook for the next 5 days. A mix of isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected region-wide heading into the weekend. Not everyone will see a shower or thunderstorm, but wanted to include at least the isolated mention in there region-wide. Kind of break down those probabilities and timing for you here later in the presentation. And before we get to that, taking a look back to what we saw yesterday. Most thunderstorms yesterday produced winds and outflow boundaries generally in that 40 to 50 mile an hour range, particularly up in the Central Mountains, upper Snake River Plain region. But we did see gusts pushing 50 to 64 miles an hour. It's one of our RAS sites up there in northern Custer County. So indicative of that today. Primary hazards centering around stronger thunderstorms will be those gusty outflow winds up to about 50 miles an hour, small hail, and brief heavy rain. Temperatures and RH out there for today. Another hot day for most, up into those upper 80s to mid to upper 90s. So near normal to above normal for this time of year, with very dry afternoon humidities, mostly in the single digits and teens, 20s further north. And wind gusts and thunderstorms for today, again favoring northern and eastern locations. Looks like down into the Magic Valley, south into Utah, where we're expecting less than about a 5% chance down in that corridor. But isolated activity will continue to be possible elsewhere, a bit more scattered in coverage as you head further north and east. And from the Storm Prediction Center, today's outlook again highlights that trend. Not a whole lot of great chances there, less than about a 10 to 20%, where it's not highlighted there in the thunderstorm coverage, but elsewhere could stand the chance to see an isolated to scattered shower or thunderstorm or two. As you can see on the probabilities here, reflecting kind of that very well from Pocatello south down into Utah, less than about a 20% chance. Can't really let some isolated activity, but bulk of that will stay north today as that kind of ring up around our region. And breaking down the timing for you today. So we'll start things off at noon. So not expecting anything during the morning hours outside of very isolated activity. That'll kick off between 12 and 3 o'clock. Again, favoring further northern and eastern locations. That'll continue through this evening as things dissipate as we get towards sunset. But outside of that, dry conditions back for tonight. And for your Thursday, a bit cooler as we start heading into the rest of the week. So 80s and 90s still, but cooling off about 1 to 6 degrees across the board for Thursday. With another round of isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm activity during those afternoon and evening hours, primarily favoring further north and east, but a bit better coverage now in and around the Magic Valley, west into the Treasure Valley. And from the Storm Prediction Center, again, highlighting that expansion trend, a bit of a less coverage down there further south. We might expect that to get filled in here over the next couple days. But HRF model probability, again, highlighting those corridors there now into the southwest portions of our forecast area, but definitely isolated to scattered mention in the forecast. And for Friday, we'll keep that cooling trend going, 70s and 80s across the board. Tough to find the 90s here in eastern Idaho on Friday. And we'll keep those isolated to scattered chances around. Sounded like a broken record there, but that'll be the going trend as we finish out the week. And for Friday, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted our entire region and just a general risk for some thunderstorms. Isolated stronger storms will be possible each day. And for Saturday, cooling trend will continue as we head into the start of the weekend. 70s and 80s across the board. Overnight lows comfortable in those 30s, 40s, and 50s. And for Saturday, you guessed it, another round of isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Those odds look to be decreasing as we finish out the weekend into next week, but at least keeping some isolated activity around for this weekend into early next week. And for Sunday, temperatures moderate a bit some, if not warming up by a few degrees, but overall 70s and 80s do continue here across eastern Idaho. And for Sunday, those decreasing thunderstorm chances, but at least keeping the isolated mention for most areas for Sunday afternoon. And heading into Monday and Tuesday, looking like the two colder days of the 7-day forecast here. Mostly going to be in those 70s and 80s, well below normal for this time of year by about 5 to 10 degrees or so. And to look at what's to come, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook does highlight that below normal temperature trend up here into the gem state. Overall normal highs this time of year will be in those 80s and 90s. We'll cool things off into those 70s and 80s during this time frame. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook does favor above normal to the north and below normal to the south. We'll be kind of in that near normal range, which isn't a great deal of precipitation given this time of year. So we may see some isolated activity continue into next week, but looking a bit drier, especially further south during that time frame. 8 to 14 shows warming temperatures across the region, mix of near normal to above normal temperatures here in the northern Rockies, helping to bring those warming temperatures back as we head into the middle part of August. And 8 to 14, similar setup there with above normal precip to the north, below normal to the south. That'll be kind of the going trend for us in between those bit more active systems to up to our north, drier to the south. We'll be in between, maybe some isolated activity, but trending drier as we head towards mid-August. And that's about all I have for you this morning. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to send us an email, give us a call, or check out some information on our website. Have an awesome Wednesday.